football's officially started, you know what else is official?
What?
Episode 10.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I was going to say,
I like how that we dressed up for it.
yeah, this episode is,
So we're
you know what me
celebrating.
and this episode have in common?
Wait, let me guess.
Go ahead.
No.
We're both 10 deep in that ass.
Oh my god. Not specifying like whose ass though.
Okay. I mean, if all the asses are open for me, that's cool.
Okay.
I mean,
Is that cool?
if I've got a choice of asses, sure. Nice and right. I didn't know you'd just let me, like, ride out there, Freebird style, but,
No, I wouldn't.
well, you already said it. It's literally been recorded, so. In the double digits.
Yeah.
Slowly getting
It's
more
a
views.
fish. I know. It's really exciting.
A handful more subscribers. We should do the like, share, subscribe at the top like we do.
Yeah. If you don't already, like, share, subscribe wherever you can.
Yeah.
Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Spotify.
Yeah. We're out here doing this for ourselves.
The Queen died, if you guys didn't know that.
Oh, you want to do
It's
that
on
part?
TV right now.
Oh.
No, I just saw it.
I was going to address the comment that we got.
Oh. I don't think we do.
Whatever.
I mean,
I was going to be like,
well, from what you were telling me earlier, it's not worth our effort and
well, but it was, what I was saying is
brain
it's
space.
not worth, like, reading the comments.
No, I know that, especially for future.
But now that it's been read, like,
But you
of
know that I'm
course we're doing
nosy.
this for ourselves. Like,
Yeah, of course.
I think it's
Like
good.
we
I
kind
think
of
it's
talked
good.
about what was it? Episode 9. We kind of talked about like why.
Yeah.
It's therapeutic for us.
Yeah.
And it's,
Yeah, I think it's like it's different. And granted, obviously, like it's in some ways it's like manufactured and artificial because
You think so?
because like I mean, yeah, we're in front of a camera with microphones. Of course, it's a little like manufactured, but that's okay. Like if anything, I think it's
Manufactured
good.
in the sense that we are like kind of forced to pick topics and stuff.
Not even that. It's just the time. Like I'm not saying it's a bad thing. What I'm saying is it's like obviously we are manufacturing time and space to like talk to each other.
Yeah.
And like yeah.
Wait, what
like
does this have to do with the comment?
I was in the process of it, and then you just start throwing in your 2 cents over there.
Ugh, sorry.
Yeah, dude, get your tummy under control, you weirdo.
I took one of those like, I guess it's kind of like a Pepto chewable.
Okay.
Like, remember my parents got you some chewable shits when you like first got sick last year because we
Mhm.
thought it was just like some stomach
Yeah,
something.
yeah,
or other?
yeah.
Well, I took one of those. They're not expired. If you're
Okay.
wondering,
They're pretty old, but sure.
they're not expired.
Good
though.
tangent. I mean, that was really on topic.
Anyways, yes. I mean, hate is just gonna be out there.
Yeah. I don't understand. We come off as Mormons. Apparently, that was weird. That was the weird.
With an edge, though.
With
an
edgy
edge.
Mormons.
I don't know. Can I be totally completely honest with you?
I think it's because
I would need to Google what the fuck Mormons really are because I really don't.
well, it would be like they're most known, I think, for like polygamy.
Really?
Yeah. So maybe this dude
Oh,
is just like
Lord.
this. Clearly, this guy has mad game, and there must be like 6 others of yous.
I mean, I
And
think
you're
you
just-
said
you're
in one
the one
episode
we
that
put
you
in front of
did
camera.
that you had
Hose.
no game,
Oh.
but like past tense.
Yeah. I mean, whatever. I thought that part was funny when I read that. I was like, oh, okay, we come off as edgy Mormons. That's weird.
Yeah.
But also,
But it's
what
just funny that. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you do it. Go.
No, go ahead.
No.
Go ahead. Because I probably wasn't going to make sense.
Just, like, clearly, like, you couldn't start no one could start anything. Whether it be like a podcast, whether it be like a journal, like, of course we're doing this for ourselves. Like, like I guess if you're going to make a comment, maybe think about it and put some thought and effort into it instead of just being like,
well, maybe that's all the thought and effort that he has.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm trying to get at is he's probably an idiot. Sorry, dude, but like just a nonsensical comment of like, it seems like you guys are just doing this for yourselves. Like, yeah, nadoy, like, of course. And then like, and if in my opinion, you guys come off as edgy Mormons. What does that even mean?
Yeah.
Like that is not only is it like it's just a funny thing in my head to picture like, oh, okay, this guy must have a really warped view on what Mormons are, much less edgy Mormons.
Yeah.
But like, okay, I if I had to guess, he must be like maybe confused on like I don't know, some Jordan Peterson stuff. Like because we've brought him up, we've brought up Joe
Oh.
Rogan, we brought up some conservative, right-leaning topics and thoughts,
Yeah. Yeah.
and so he must be like Mormons.
I still
Which
think I'm gonna have to Google it, but
yeah,
that's fine.
well, yeah, it's a weird, wacky sect of Christianity, whichever is the
Oh,
brand.
it's
Like,
like it's like a subcategory.
yeah, it's the one that like the dude found the book in the woods and made a religion from it in like the 1700s. I mean, he basically just tricked a bunch of people.
Mm-hmm.
He was like, "Yep, I found these tablets, and only I can
So
read them with magic glasses because that was God's plan."
this comment that we're talking about is kind of a good segue because I had a thought earlier. I forget why the thought crossed my mind, but then again, you were just playing a clip from like what was it? Your mom's house. I heard
Yeah,
Tom and
yeah,
Christina.
yeah.
Um, and they were talking about what differences in senses of humor.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I had a thought earlier, and that's why it was coincidental that I just heard you playing that clip. But like, it's crazy for me to think that, of course, like there's so many different people in the world, and it takes all kinds. But it's crazy for me to think that people can go through life without much of a sense of humor or go through
No.
life without like kind of a dirty sense of humor. To
Oh,
me, that
yeah.
seems so bland.
Well, have you seen
Like
I'm sure
I get
you
such
watch
a kick
enough.
out of things in my own head every like all day long every day,
Oh,
just
yeah.
like to
Yeah.
myself that I don't
I
understand
imagine
that
it's
that
like
would suck to not.
Theo Vaughn's producer who like has apparently never jerked
Nick.
off. Did you?
Nick?
Yeah, he when Shane Gillis was on there.
Nuh-uh.
Yeah, when Shane Gillis was on most recent episode.
Okay,
Like in the
I
most
have a hard
recent time he
I would
was
have to
on.
hear that because I have a hard time believing that.
Yeah, he was it's like a little Asian guy is his producer.
Oh, him.
Yeah,
The one in Nashville.
I guess.
Yeah,
Yeah, not Nick.
Rand
Yeah, not
not
Nick from
no, not
no, yeah, no. That dude probably busts nuts left and right. No, and
I
yeah, it's
forget his
Theo Vaughn's
name,
solo
but yes, I
podcast,
know.
little
I
Asian
think he's
kid.
like 19 or
Yeah,
something.
apparently like never jerked off.
Yeah,
And
I heard
when I
that.
heard that, I was like, not like obviously like Shane is like you're joking with me. Like this has to be like a bit. And then I like and he was like, apparently no, this dude's
Yeah.
just never done it. And I was like, man, that has to be so weird.
Okay, well, I know it
It's gotta be
maybe
such a
like it's
weird
different for dudes.
similar idea is all I was saying. It's like
Yeah. But
like
I was gonna comment on the jerking off thing.
yeah, go for it.
Maybe it's different for dudes, but and we all have already established that I was a late bloomer and you kind of, I mean, maybe not in the jerking off area,
No,
but
no,
like
no. I
actually
was right
having sex.
young. Yeah, I was real young when I was.
Well, I didn't even like try. I wasn't interested in anything that had to do with masturbation or we
Mm-hmm.
talked about before like porn, like anything
Yeah.
like that. Thought it was gross. I was like, ew, why would I like in my head like, ew, why would I touch myself like that? That's weird. Until I was like, I don't even fucking know, maybe like 20,
Well,
19, 20, like after I had first had sex, which was 18.
maybe that's what this guy was coming from with the whole Mormon thing, because
Because we talk about that
because
being late
you have
bloomers.
come from no, I've been pretty up there about like, I mean, other than the actual intercourse part, I was slumming
Yeah.
up until I was 18, and then even after 18, dude, there were some slum dogs out there. There were some real
Yeah.
some gutter seas. I won't even make you edit it
But
out.
can you imagine, like,
I think you can say cunt on YouTube. Gutter cunts.
can you imagine just trying to go through life and not,
Like, I find things funny.
yeah, like you think that I mean, and I do, I'm easily amused, but I feel like you kind of are too.
Oh
But
yeah.
I just can't imagine not being easily amused by things or not
Yeah.
being just
Yeah. No. Like
like,
when I watched the new like Beavis and Butthead movie that was on Paramount
was it
Plus.
good?
It was funny. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was actually really funny, and like for the fact that like it's silly to have to like even say this for like a cartoon movie, and especially like an adult cartoon movie, but like they took an effort to like explain how they got to the future because the show ended in like maybe the early 2000s, and then they had one season in like 2012,
Yeah.
and then the show was just done. And so they took like I'm so used to entertainment now, not even making the effort to like explain things that need to be explained. Like, I
Right.
get it, we're watching fiction, but like, as somebody who, I mean, I tend to like pick apart movies and stuff like that.
Yeah, you do.
So like the like they made an effort to be like, this is how they get pushed into like the future,
Okay.
and I was like, all right, cool, works for me. Like you made an effort, and then there were like some legitimate funny moments, like when Beavis and Butthead figure out like what white privilege is. It was legitimately funny. Like they go to some college campus and they just like bust into a school and
Yeah.
they're like, whoa, like this bitch is cheat like saying something, and the teacher's like, I want everyone in the class to realize that they used a gender affirming term, and then they explain to Beavis and Butthead what like white privilege is.
Yeah.
The joke being like, they're like, oh, okay, cool. And then they go out into the world telling everybody that they have white privilege and then exert their like they're like jumping in front of line at the cafeteria like excuse me, like we
Oh
just
my
found out we have
god.
white privilege, like we understand you didn't know either, like here we're just using our white privilege. It was funny.
um.
But it was like but then there's also like fart humor and like I find that funny. Like yeah, very easily amused at times.
Yeah. Uh. And it sucks that like because people can have such different like I guess you could call it like a spectrum of.
Yeah, I would
It
imagine
sucks that we have to like suppress certain.
well, we're not.
Well, I mean when you're out in public and like around other
That would
people.
be like so to take me back to this little fucknut of a comment, just cause
Oh.
like I can count on
You
the.
told me not to dwell on it, so
I'm
you
not
shouldn't
dwelling on it.
be.
What I
Okay.
told you is to not read them.
Yeah.
Then like I said,
But I get notified.
that train has left the station.
Yeah.
Or if you're going to
But
read
I
them,
kept it cordial
well, that's fine. That's
for him
absolutely yeah.
and
Well,
the
you
other
should
chick on
in public,
Facebook.
as far as like the
Yeah, I know.
written word of it all. Yeah,
Yeah.
be cordial. Like there's more, I guess, lasting power in the written word. Whereas like right here, like this dude's an idiot. Um, the number of times that I've left a
I like to be
comment
the
on
bigger
YouTube,
person.
by the way, I could count on like a single hand, and it's only ever been. I've never once made a comment on YouTube that's been like, I found this to be.
Yeah, well, some people just have more time on their hands and
Yeah. Which, first
just
off,
like
thanks for
to.
watching, and
Yeah,
thanks for potentially checking back in.
I know.
Like, do you even? I don't even know who this person is.
No, he's just a random.
And well, it this early in the game, it has to be like connected somehow. Like it has to be
No, it doesn't.
somebody.
No,
Okay.
because when I boost it on social, I boost it to countries
Okay.
all
Well,
over the
anyways,
world.
I just again thought it was funny. Um,
Yeah.
the like
It was like it
the
was
I don't know how
long.
to. Well, I just don't know
It
how to
was
like
like a
word it in a
reaction
way that it's like,
summary.
man, like we're just too. Like I understand like shouting at like a Beyonce Knowles, like if they put something out on YouTube, like I understand shouting at like celebrities and being like, "Oh, I don't like what you said," because the idea for the most part is like if they were to see your comment and respond, you're like, "Oh my god, I'm so sorry. Like I just wanted you to like talk to me." Like I hear that story a lot from celebrities. Like when you
Really?
hear them talk about like
Because I was going to
a
say, I
lot
don't
of
even understand shouting at them.
a lot of times the person is just they're trying to get
Oh,
like they're just trying to get a response.
trying to bait them, yeah.
Not even a bait, but in their mind, the best chance of getting a response is to be negative. And like cuz I don't know why, I mean, I don't know even the psychology behind it, but they want to be negative, and then the second that it gets responded to, like I've heard Tom talk about it, I've heard Bert, I've even heard Joe, like the second it gets responded to by the celebrity, they instantly backpedal, and it's like clear like they just wanted a response. Not like they didn't want somebody to blow up on them.
Mhm.
They just wanted to be talked to by this person, and they're like, you know what? I'm so sorry. I didn't mean it. I was having a rough day.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff. So I understand that. Like, dude, you're shouting at two randos on a couch talking about like our
Like I said, he has a lot of time on
individual
his
like
hands.
experiences. It's just funny. It's funny,
It is. And you know what I just realized?
and to be
And
called a
I'm going to
edgy
pretend.
Mormon, I might put like I'm gonna hold on to that for a while. Like edgy Mormon.
You know, I just realized, and I'm going to pretend that I did this on purpose for episode 10 in celebration of.
Okay. Nope.
My feet are
Oh
out.
damn, dude, you're giving the goods.
I mean, 10
Giving
episodes
the
in.
goods. You're wearing
Gotta
short enough
celebrate.
shorts that your lips might be showing at
They're
some
not
point.
short, first of all. They're baggy as hell.
Yeah.
Also,
Alright.
they're fucking represent the cult.
Are they?
Yeah, Life Rips shorts.
I thought it was maybe the gay pride cult.
Life Rips that I literally ripped and got caught on a dresser on
Jeez.
vacation. Anyways, so yeah, it's just funny
But
that like
thanks for the comment. You know what I would have liked? And give me whatever stupid comment you might have. End it with a question that we can answer. How about that?
yeah.
That would have then I would have been like, and thanks for listening. Thanks for your comment. We'll answer your question now. Instead, it's like, the fuck did you want, dude? Like,
Mhm.
what was your goal?
Yeah.
I guess maybe this was the goal. Maybe he's like, nah, people are talking about me on YouTube. But whatever.
Well,
It was just
maybe he
funny to me.
just goes to random YouTube videos and leaves
Comments like
comments
that.
for funsies.
I tried to look.
You can do that?
I mean, I thought you might be able to like just click on his account and see like
Oh.
what he's commented on before. But
Yeah.
I literally put 2 seconds into it and I was like, you know what, done.
Yeah. So anyway, the
The other
chick
comment,
that did the
yeah,
one on Facebook, that was fun.
that was at least like, I guess her point was,
She had no point. She
well, she
didn't
didn't have a
even
point, but
she claimed to not even have given the
she was
podcast a
just
chance,
she
and
was
she
just
was
like
just
trying to waste ad money.
no. She said I was wasting ad money by
Oh, you were.
boosting the link.
Oh, that was terribly worded then because when I
Yeah, I
read
think
it,
she misspelled some shit.
well, and was missing like connective tissue in that sentence then because when I read it, I was like, maybe she like the way that I read it, I was like, oh, she's trying to get one at the ad company by like putting a comment and a like on our thing, and she's like trying to waste ad. I just didn't get it. It made no sense. And then yeah, when she was like, "Oh, I didn't actually listen," I was like, "All right, you're fucking."
Yeah,
But
that last name that she has is definitely wasted on her.
I didn't even see it. But I also bring all this up because it's inevitable. Like
Yeah, I know.
when you first were like, "Babe," I was like, "Yeah, dude. Like, we're going out of our way. Again, we're manufacturing this. Like, we're putting ourselves out there.
Yeah,
So
I know.
it's
I
gonna
know
happen."
that, and we've talked about before about self-consciousness and things like
Yeah.
that. So it's not possible for me to have a hard shell all the time.
No, I get it.
Some things are gonna come through,
I'm letting you
especially
know
on my
that
bad
if you
days.
every day that you bring it up, every time it happens and you bring it up to me, I'm gonna be like, yeah, what are you doing?
Well, don't say
Don't
that.
listen
Then
to it.
I'm just gonna not bring it up to you and keep it inside.
No, bring it up to me. I'm just gonna tell you every time. Don't read the comments.
Yeah.
Or who cares? Like, I don't
No,
know.
I know it's not. It's
I don't know
definitely
why it's
something.
I don't know why it's so easy for me to just be like, I don't care. I don't care if like it was somebody at work being like, I don't like what you said. Be like, all right, dude,
Yeah.
don't like fucking listen then. I
Yeah.
guess.
But yeah, I don't know. I just had that thought today about like senses of humor. Like, it would just suck to not.
But yeah, well, I would imagine. I can't imagine anyone goes through life without a sense of humor. I mean,
I don't know.
I would imagine
There's a lot of people in the world that we don't know
if
personally.
you do, I mean, I would imagine you're so far on the other end of like this, like
Like a
your life has.
workaholic,
Well, no, I
maybe.
would imagine it's just well, maybe there's that end too. But I would imagine like my brain first went to like you must be miserable. Like every moment
They
must
must.
be
Well,
like.
I mean, a workaholic.
See, but I think
Would
I think
think that they would
workaholics that are
be.
successful find maybe not
Yeah. You know,
like
I have.
fun in it, but there's a satisfaction. There's like an achievement
Yeah. But am I wrong for immediately thinking like when I think about people like that there's something that's missing. Like there's something
Um,
that they
in your opinion, yes, there is.
um
But the people that tend to be that like, and I don't mean like people that are workaholics by necessity, like people that are workaholics because for whatever reason that's how they're wired.
mhm.
No, I can't imagine they feel like they're missing anything. I think they know that they're doing exactly what they're supposed to be doing.
Really?
Yeah. I
I
mean,
guess
like,
just from my point
if
of
you look
view,
at,
I would
yeah,
feel like, oh, well,
that's what
I'm
I mean.
missing
Like, from your
family
point of view,
time, I'm
yeah.
missing love, I'm missing blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. I mean, if you're, like, Tom Brady's a good example. Like, that dude, I mean, any NFL player, you are a workaholic to be an NFL player. It is a nonstop job every day that you're working on, whether in some aspect, whether it's even just your
How often do they work though in the off season?
every day. There's
Really?
no. I mean, I'm sure they might get like a week or two off where they're at home,
Yeah.
not like, but I would imagine they're always working out. Like they're always doing some kind of physical training. They're
Mhm.
always eating in a manner that has to keep them in shape. Like
Yeah.
I don't think take they're probably not inclined to just take 2 weeks off where they're like, I'm just gonna gorge myself on food and show up to like the start of training camp out of shape.
Yeah.
Like you probably have to get yourself in shape even when you're in relatively good shape to start training camp, and that's
Right.
a process in and of its own.
Right.
But I would imagine that all of them are like, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. But I think that's like a big thing that's being talked out of, at least from the female perspective.
What's that?
Like what you were saying is like missing family time. Like I think for
What do you mean
whatever,
talked out of?
well, I think for whatever reason right now, like women are trying to be like talked out of having families. Like they're being convinced
Oh.
that like it's not the most important thing in the world. That it learn not that it's not the most important thing in the world, but to the individual woman, it won't be the most important thing to them. And they're being talked out of the
By
idea
who?
by this weird fucking woke movement that's happening. This
Oh.
whole female half of this woke movement, like take the trans stuff out of it, is like women's equality, like like women being in the position of like the people that have babies. It's like being twisted in a way that it's somehow like a part of the patriarchal structure that like men have implanted on women, that it's like this is your job to take. It's like, well, that's just the biology
Mhm.
of the woman is that they have the kid. And then
Right.
they're biologically wired to like I mean it would be terrible for the species of humanity if women weren't like, I want babies.
Yeah.
If women were just like,
Yeah.
nah, fuck it,
Yeah.
like we probably wouldn't have made it 10,000 years. We've
Yeah.
been like, if women were like, no, I'd rather be like chasing wolves every day. Be like, okay, well that's not good. Like I think that would be a terrible idea. And but I mean they're having a very good job of being like convinced that like no, work is going to be the most important thing to you. And there's like a huge, there seems to be, I think this is why you see a lot of like the whole Karen epidemic
Mhm.
is directly tied into it. I think there's a lot of like women that get past their like years of having children and realize like, oh shit, like I might have a partner, like I might have a man, but I'm basically alone. Like I don't have a family. I'm now incapable of having a family,
Yeah.
and they just get like embittered because they probably look back and go, fuck me, like I was lied to. I was told that this career thing was going to be the most important thing to me. And
Yeah.
it's like, well, no, the most important thing to you, I forget what I think it was that Pearly, the redhead that I watch on YouTube sometimes. Pearly Things, I think is her channel. But she's like, she lives in like London or whatever, but she had some dude on, and he was saying how like, he was like, it seems like what most women would want, like if in a vacuum, ask themselves, like, what do I want? They would say that like in 50 years, they want to be able to like be in a home with like three generations of people that basically came from them. Like
Yeah.
they had 2, 3, 4 children. Those children have children,
Yeah.
and that most women should want to be able to, at like 60 years of age, sit down and be like, for a holiday, and be like, this is like my family. It's my
Yeah.
huge family. And the more that I like hear about it, the more I listen to it, and the more I even think on it, it's like, yeah, that makes sense. Like it would be from a science standpoint, like from a biological standpoint, it would make sense that like, yeah, there should be an inherent need from women to want to like procreate because
Right.
it's important to the species. And not only that, but like it's weird. It's a weird disservice to talk women out of that being like an important thing.
Yeah, I
Like
agree.
the idea that it's like this is some tyrannical power that's being wielded over you that you have to take care of children is like, wait a minute. Like that's craziness. Like that's how you end up with like miscreant children that just are psychos and how like the
Because
world
no
ends
one
up
wants to
burning
take care
down
of
because
them.
yeah, you're like, we'll just leave these little
Yeah.
psychos to their own devices.
Yeah. No, I'm thankful that my mom is like she is the kind of woman who wants to see all of her family together. Like she loves when we all get together and her grandkids and kids and so that's probably the main reason that I am the way that I
Yeah.
am.
Well, and even for me personally, I mean, I went from like probably being like, I don't know if I'm gonna have kids, to like, all right, we've got one, to basically like having the clock ticking down. Like, all right, well, I mean, we're gonna have another one.
Yeah.
It's just kind of like when. I think if I was financially a little bit better off, I'd probably be okay with already working on the second one, and then
Mhm.
being like, well, I might be willing to have a third, like,
Yeah.
because I can't help but sometimes think about like when I was younger. It's like, man, we did have like a huge family functions all the time, and it was really cool. And it's unfortunate that whatever the things are that happened, there's probably 1,000 different variables as to why our family isn't nearly as close as it once was. Um,
Yeah.
but like I do
Oh,
think about times
sorry.
like, man, like we could be the center of that. Like we could like start our own like version of that, and that would be really cool.
Yeah. It
And I
would
think it would
be.
be important. The more that I hear about this whole like
The population dying
yeah,
off.
the population collapse, I'm like, man, maybe we should just be.
The more you hear about that, the
I'm
more
like,
you
I'm
just
like,
want to
I'm like,
like
fuck, man, maybe we should just be busting nuts left and right.
splurt.
Yeah, there's
You
a
get a kid and you get a
yeah,
kid.
there's a lack of splurt in this world, and we just need more.
Oh my gosh. So maybe instead of 10 deep in that ass, we should have said something
Yeah,
else. Because you can't make babies in that one.
yeah,
Um, oh my gosh. Yeah, so I wanted to bring up because I talked about like the senses of humor thing, and one of the things I love like most about how you and I are on the same page with the sense of humor is when we're out in really busy places and we, as bad as this sounds, but I'm sure everyone does it, people watch.
No, it bugs me
So,
that you don't do it enough.
well, I'm focused mostly on Colton and where he's at, especially if
Even
he's
before
not
that,
in his stroller.
even before that,
Yeah, I know, I'm aloof.
I swear, you're just watching your feet. You're making sure that you're just one foot in front of the other. You're just
I'm
looking forward like
focused
do 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 do
on
do do
you and
do.
I and what we're
The
doing.
number of times that
Also, it
I'd be like,
makes me
babe, 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 babe.
uncomfortable to it makes me uncomfortable to like think that I might make eye contact with some
Yeah, no,
creeper.
you just have,
So I
have to have
don't,
a high passive perception.
but I mean
Dungeons and Dragons
you're
term.
like another level.
Yeah,
Like
I'm always out there
we'll just
watching.
be even when we were eating lunch. So this is what I wanted to bring up was like apparently we found this out this past what day was it? Sunday?
Yeah, Sunday when we went to the fair.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And we
Sunday.
won't say which fair or anything, but we found out that apparently some people think, oh, the fair's in town. I'm going to show everyone my nipples.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
This chick, oh
So
my
this again,
God.
I don't like. This is where I think that there are some women out there that are just stupid. And I mean this in this like, because I think it could
Women
change.
and men, let's be real.
But well, yeah, because the men, well, yes, the men that they're with definitely are stupid for the fact of being like, yep, I'm okay with this. I'm okay with you
Yeah.
basically wearing a
Assuming
skin
that they were in a
tight
relationship. Yeah.
white T-shirt on a
Oh my
95-degree day, where basically like
Basically
you're
see
sitting in a
through.
tent to eat food, you're sweating through your white shirt so that people can just see your tits, and
Yeah.
it's like, I swear this is not.
She should have been just topless, is what you said when we
Well,
walked
yeah, yeah,
past.
yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah.
you might as well just
Yeah, you might as well just have your
fucking pop
fucking,
them out.
yeah, might as well.
I mean, she had some
But
dark
I
nips.
swear, if I could ask these people without fear of like getting shouted at like nonstop, I'd be like, is this what you think? Like like this is your equality?
There are kids everywhere,
Like,
too.
I just can't help but be like, this must be what they think women's rights is. Like women's equality. I'm out here fighting for women's equality by
Yeah.
having my titties out. And
Yeah.
it's like,
And in the
no,
same breath, she'll probably be like, I'm up here. Like, stop fucking
yeah,
looking at my.
yeah. Her man's probably like buying her food and
Oh
drink,
my God.
and it's just like, I'm just like, this is crazy.
Yeah.
It's
It was
crazy.
just like
Yeah, and you're like, yeah, there's children around. Like
slam right in the face.
this shouldn't be different than, yeah, if you were like standing in front of 13-year-olds as a 40-year-old woman
Yeah.
and just taking like your top off and just showing your titties to 13-year-old
And
kids,
it's not even the fact that, like, so
12-year-old kids younger. I mean, it's
we didn't mention it either, but it's not even like they were pretty big boobs. And I don't know, did they look fake to you? They were like just
yeah, I would imagine they were fake.
pretty perky and like, but that's not even the point. Like,
gigantic
if these were
dark nipples
if
coming through the shirt. It was just,
if these were like A cups, whatever, I would still be like, dude, fucking
so
put
you
your
didn't see the
nips
other lady.
away.
You didn't see the other lady because you
Who?
were focused on, I guess, feeding our son. But when we
Oh,
sat down in
sorry.
the
That I
barbecue
would-
tent, there was another one sitting behind us.
Oh, behind
had
us. No, I'm
like
not gonna turn around
much
to look at
smaller.
people.
Well, she wasn't. She was
Mm.
behind our table, directly in front of us. I mean, she was in front of us.
But you sit sideways so that
Okay.
you
Well, I
can
must have
check
checked
people
her
out.
titties out 25 times to be like,
Yeah.
am I like?
She was sitting or she was getting in line buying food?
No, she was behind us with like her kid
Okay.
and some other
I saw
lady,
people behind us, but
and
I
it was
wasn't-
like, it was just clearly like these tits had seen better days.
Wait, she didn't have a bra or what?
Yeah, she didn't have a bra,
Oh.
and she was the one who was sweating. Like,
Oh.
she was sweating through
Nice.
her tits, and I was like,
Through
I
her
was just like, man, this is a rough look for you, lady.
Oh
And you
God. I mean, it
chose,
was a hot day, but for real, wear a bra.
yeah, I just don't understand.
Support the ladies. I mean,
I just don't
don't just
understand
leave them hanging.
what the like agenda is for not.
So, I mean, I
Like, again,
will
if the
absolutely admit that it feels good to not wear a bra, but I would not do that in public, even with the smallest boobs. I just wouldn't.
Yeah,
Like,
I
when
mean,
you hit a certain age as a girl, and this is just how I feel, you
But-
start wearing a bra.
but that would be like, yeah, I mean, like, I don't like wearing shoes because shoes aren't comfortable. Like, it's just like, you know what you're
But
doing.
you know what? So, you know how I mentioned in the other episode, I always am playing through my mind like people's rebuttal and like what people could say that might make it okay, like with the child leash thing that we talked about. So, people will probably say like, well, just like I should be able to not wear a bra wherever I want to. Don't look at my chest. Like that's the answer.
Yeah.
But I mean,
Yeah.
human beings,
Yeah.
dudes. I
Or-
mean, if people are dudes, women, whoever, if you're attracted to chicks, you're gonna look.
Well, dudes are,
Even if you're not, you're
scien-
gonna look.
again, dudes are it's scientifically proven. Dudes are biologically inclined to check out the chest size and the hip size of women because there's
Yeah, I've heard that
there's
before,
like
actually.
innate biological, like, there's something deep in our like reptile part of our brain that
Thought you were gonna
allows
say
us to make like snap judgments on like your baby making abilities
Yeah.
based on like your
If
figure.
we have birth and hips.
So to be like, well, just don't look at my tits. It's like, well,
Right. Well,
don't
that's what some
don't
people are
live
gonna
in
say.
the houses that were built by us then. How about that? I'll stop looking at your tits if you build your own house. Because I guarantee you
Yeah.
that the people responsible for building your neighborhood probably had dicks. Just
Yeah.
a pretty, like, I know that's a broad brush, and it's going to be like, oh, you sexist. And it's like, well, no,
No, I
probably
mean
not.
it's just
There's probably a very easy statistical fact there that I've had to guess 98% of the house builders in the world are men.
yeah.
Be my guess.
Yeah.
So I'll stop looking at your tits if you stop living in houses. How about that?
But I mean there were just so many people that like as like judgy as this sounds, I just want to be like, dude, do you own a mirror? Like before you leave your house,
Dude, there was some girl
do
that I
you
saw with
fucking look at yourself?
what had to have been like her kid and then what would be her grandma. Like there was obviously a missing
Yeah, yeah,
generation of
yeah.
mom.
Oh, okay.
Which I would then assume there's probably a missing generation of dad, which would lead to why
Excuse me.
this mother had her kid's name tattooed on her face.
Oh, really?
And I was just like,
Nice.
and I'm like, you're like you're in your early 20s,
Yeah.
and you've doomed yourself
Yeah.
to unemployment. Like
Let me tell you.
the epidemic of just terrible decision making
So when we're in public places,
is just crazy.
you're always the one to be looking around at our surroundings, the people around us, just like checking everything out.
Yeah, in case shit goes down, I got to run away from you fast.
Yeah, that's why. And I'm not. I'm more just like streamlined, like focused, what we're doing
Yeah,
and whatever.
Ooh, here's the lunchbox store.
But let me give you an example of why I don't fuck with strangers around us or like make eye contact or
Well, I don't
like
make eye contact with them.
I'm sure
You
you
scan.
do.
You scan.
Okay. Well, we
Scan.
were walking.
Keep notes. Scan.
We were walking. It was like kind of when we first got there, we were walking toward the back part, like passing where they had like turkey legs and shit. And you know how like they have a bunch of wires and shit going across different walkways, so they had to cover it with that big rubber piece.
Yeah.
Well, this was a big bump,
Mm-hmm.
so I had to like kind of stop and like lift the stroller up over it.
Oh, you
And
know
I
what?
just
Like,
said,
dude said something to you, right?
yeah, and I just said to myself and to you, kind of, I was like, damn, that's a big bump. Like, this is a fucking big bump. And the guy heard me and he was like, oh, she must be talking to me, I guess, in his fucking head. And he was like, yeah, they got to run wires and electricity through here and blah, blah, blah.
I think
And I
we
was
must have
like,
passed this guy twice, or there's just another weirdo explaining how
I'm
the
sure there
wires
were a
work.
gazillion weirdos.
Because I heard somebody else say the same thing to somebody else while I think it was
Really?
like when I was by myself. I was getting something, and I just happened to be like standing there, and the guy was like, it was like same thing. It was like some lady was pushing a stroller, got stuck on it, lifted it up and over, and he was like,
Oh, really?
yeah, they got to run wires, so they run the wire, and like, he's like, that's how the machines operate.
Oh, well, he didn't.
And I'm just sitting there like, yeah, you fucking idiot.
No, he didn't say all that to
You
me.
think these fucking work on air power? Like what?
He didn't say all that to me. He got creepy with it because he was like,
I feel like it for a very split second registered in my head. He said something to you, and I was just like, whatever, and just kept walking.
yeah,
I don't remember.
I didn't address the last comment he made because it was gross or just like he was trying to be fucking whatever. But so I said to myself and to you, I was like, damn, that's a big bump. And then he said the wire thing, and then I was like, maybe I set myself up for this, but also as a stranger to a stranger, don't assume that I'm going to be cool with what you're going for.
Yeah.
Because I said, well, that's just like the biggest one that I've seen so far. And in our minds, of course, like we know each other and we can make fucking like dick jokes or
Yeah.
whatever based off of that comment. But he just said something like, oh, she likes big bumps. And then I just like stopped addressing him.
Oh.
I just kept walking with you. And I was like,
It's not even like,
I don't even fucking know you, dude.
yeah, that's not even that good either.
No, it's not. But also, he didn't seem like
He
all
should have hit
there.
it. He should have fought. Well, yeah.
He didn't seem like he was all there.
Yeah.
But yeah, like as much as I'm all about like like dirty, like funny sense of humor, don't as a weird stranger that I don't know you.
Yeah.
Even the slightest bit, don't assume that that's cool.
Yeah, that's definitely weird.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean there's all fucking kinds of people at the fair. Like remember that one lady was, I think she was like bitching to one of the food
No, I
vendors,
had my eye on that one. Yeah, I was waiting for that to turn into a fight.
waiting for it to pop off.
Yeah.
And she just thought that there was a line where there wasn't a line, and she was just bitching
Yeah.
about
So I
it.
think
She wanted to be next.
what some of those things were doing was like one side was the line to order,
Oh, really? They were doing that?
and then on the back side they had windows
Oh, for pickup.
for like picking up.
Yeah.
And so what I assume happened is that lady was standing behind a couple people in the pickup line,
Yeah.
and then got to the window and was like, "I'll have this," and they were like, "Ma'am,
Yeah.
you got to wait in line." And because I remember her being like, "How the fuck you gonna tell me to wait in line after I've been waiting in line?" It's like,
It's kind of your
well,
fault for not realizing those people were just picking
yeah,
up food.
if you're in the wrong line, yeah, I
If
can see it.
if there was, yeah. If
You
there
know,
was no like verbal or like payment transaction with those people in front of you at the window, you would question, what are they doing in this line?
yeah.
Why aren't
See,
they
again,
paying?
I'm aware enough that I would have picked up on some cues of
Yeah.
like, huh,
Yeah. Yeah,
huh.
for sure.
Like when I went down the slide with Colton,
Yeah.
there was no like defined line, and there was like 6 people waiting,
Yeah.
and I was like, okay, well, there's really only like 3 places that a line could form.
Yeah.
So I'm going to pick the place that's not cutting anyone off and is closest to the guy. And I just
Right.
stood there for a moment.
Right.
And then it was like 2 people got their little card swiped. And then he was like, everybody, the line forms here. And he like pointed to where
Oh,
I
good for
was.
him.
And then there was like one person in front of me that had been waiting there before me. And
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, go ahead.
It
You're good.
it just like baffles me the amount of like spatial awareness that people lack. Just like
Yeah.
who's around them and courtesy and that kind of thing. So when you were going down that slide that you just mentioned, you saw how like the people on the ground we would get at the end of it and take
Yeah.
pictures and
Yeah.
video
Yeah.
and shit.
I thought I was
Well,
gonna
there was
again. I
like a
thought I was gonna take that
sliver.
little girl out.
There was like a sliver of a walkway between two gates. And so I squeezed all the way through to get to the far side to take a little video of you guys. And then there was this lady like trying to record when I was trying to come back out. And she was like coming in as I was trying to come back out, and she came and just stopped and like blocked my way. And then like I was able to get past her, but then there was a guy like with his stroller blocking the rest of the way. And I'm in my head, I'm like, people, fucking, this is the only walkway, and you know this. So move your shit so
Yeah.
people can, you know what
I'll tell you
everyone's
what,
doing here.
you and your mom both did the same thing. Said the
When?
same thing to me. I didn't say this to your mom. I said it to you though. When we were going to like the little animal petting part, and I like see like I'm just
Oh,
looking
with the
I'm
stroller.
just looking at the sign and stuff, and I'm seeing like, okay, no stroller.
I know
And I get it, because
you were a good little boy.
animals, like these animals don't know what a stroller is. Even if they're used to a stroller, it's best to like.
You think that's the reason?
It's for sure the reason with the horses.
You don't think
like
it's just
the horse.
overcrowding?
No, the horses will
Oh,
get freaked the fuck
that.
out.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
Well,
yeah.
that, but I also like a goat isn't necessarily an animal you want to freak out and have it hop the fence and start. Like a goat will fuck people up.
Well, I thought when goats are scared, they just freeze. Is that only
Some
certain
goats.
goats?
That's only certain goats.
Okay.
Not all goats feign death. But like
Oh,
it would
that's
be a bad
funny.
day for people if
Okay.
like the goat free. So I'm like, all right, leaving the stroller.
Yeah.
And then you guys instantly assume that like people are just the second they see an abandoned stroller, they're robbing it. So you're like, my things.
My
All right, well, I'm
wallet
like,
is
whatever.
in there.
I'll get your freaking wallet.
Is
Fine.
important.
And then I walk in and I see like 3 strollers come in as well, and I'm like, well, I know that I'm going to be told this. And sure enough, your mom's like, well, other people are bringing the strollers in. And in my head, I'm like, yeah, well, I know what I'm gonna say because I'm gonna say it to Nicki because she's gonna. And sure enough, you're like, yeah, everyone's bringing in strollers. And I was like, yeah, just because they're bringing in the strollers doesn't mean we
Yeah.
have to bring in our stroller.
I
Like,
know.
just because they're deciding to break the rules doesn't
I
mean
know.
that we have to break the rules.
And I was all about that page when we were trying to cross the street to get back to the car because people were going when it wasn't the go hand, and I was like, don't be a lemming.
Different.
We're gonna wait here on the sidewalk and not get hit by a car.
If we had walked with like when the groups initially started to walk, we would have been fine because there was no traffic.
Okay, but there's also cops in the intersection, and
Well-
that's technically jaywalking, right? Why is it
Yeah,
called jaywalking?
because it's a derogatory term for like a poor person, I think.
Oh,
In
really?
like the 1920s, when they first like when
But
cars
J,
first
what does J mean or stand for?
like they would just call like just bad poor people Jays.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't think it means like any specific type of person. It's just
Yeah,
like poor people. It was a derogatory term for like poor people.
it
Like you call
was,
it, yeah, yeah.
but isn't anymore.
No, because
Because if it
it's
were,
an
they would have
old ass
changed the
term.
name by now. It can be an old ass term, and people can like deem it bad these days, and we know
Yeah.
that. But yeah, the fair was a
If I had to guess, then it was probably a term
it was an
for poor
experience.
white people, because that's the only way that it would be
Oh
acceptable to
God.
still use.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Um, but yeah, fun fact. I actually thought about that when I was gonna make the joke when you like said something about jaywalking while we were there. It's like, babe, you can't say that. It's a derogatory term. But the fair,
I'm trying
yeah.
to think
I
if I have
mean,
anything else to say about the fair.
I, I like and dislike at the same time things like that. Like
Really?
I really do. I dislike being in like such a crowded place. I don't like being like. It just I'm inherently aware that like your possibility for just not even like bad things, but like encounters that you're just not going to enjoy go up 1,000-fold by being there. At the
Yeah.
same time, I do enjoy watching like just people out in the world. And so
Yeah.
you get a great chance to just see a ton of random people and just be like, dude, what the fuck?
Yeah. Kind of bummed we didn't win that Rick and Morty, the Rick
Yeah.
thing.
I mean, none of those games are meant to be won, really.
I know. It's just such a
Like you
ripoff.
wanted to do the basketball thing, and I was like, dude,
But the more I thought about it, like the hoops were kind of far away, and
yeah, they're not
I mean, we
regulation. They're
we both
obviously
know
not
that I do
regulation.
have a sick jump shot, but I
Yeah.
mean, they were kind of far for that. No, not regulation, definitely not. But yeah, I thought that that was fun, and I know that, like you said, when you go to things like that, you should just go into it knowing that there's gonna be things that are not enjoyable, like the heat fucking sucked,
Yeah.
and like just, I mean, it was like dirty and like
Yep.
you had to wait for things. But I do like the experience of it.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, like it's nice to be there with like the family.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
It's definitely a good thing. Like your dad didn't. I mean, that would have been rough for your dad.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
Sucks that he missed it, but
Yeah.
like there's
But he went last
he's
year.
so
I mean, he
young.
knows
Like
what it.
there's so much stuff. Like there's no way that we're gonna be there for all of it. So it's like whatever. Like
Right.
there's so much stuff that's gonna be coming in the future to enjoy,
Right.
and we're at the very beginning of
I know.
this little roller coaster with this dude. So
Yeah. Did you not want your feet that close to the camera?
no, I felt like my fucking sack was bulging
Oh.
out the bottom, so I figured I should maybe adjust so that I wasn't just showing the boys.
Okay. So in honor of episode 10, I'm gonna give you my would you rather,
Oh, okay.
and it's gonna be your options are one or the other for 10 seconds.
Okay.
Performing one or the other for 10 seconds.
Okay. Performing one or the other.
Yes.
Okay.
And talking about your
I'll sick now.
bulging sack kind of reminded me of my question.
Okay.
So, just a super random and kind of gross one. But for 10 seconds, would you rather make out with a homeless person
Okay.
or suck monkey balls?
I'm sure your mom must be so happy.
Listen. Because I know that I was going off on like all these weird questions, like when you asked me about the bees or the candles shit.
Yeah.
So we're talking like a legit, like tenured, dirty homeless person, like
Okay.
not fresh on the street, not
Okay.
fresh clothes, nothing fresh about
Okay.
this person.
Versus monkey balls.
No, listen, they won't fight back.
Well, I would fucking hope
There's
the
gonna
monkey.
be either or. They
Okay.
won't fight back. There's gonna be nothing for the homeless person expected after. It's not gonna lead to anything else.
Okay.
So just 10 seconds
I
and then
don't
you're
need any
gone.
more. I already know my answer.
Okay.
Homeless person.
Why?
Because you're crossing a terrible, terrible line by sucking the balls of another animal. Also, I'm pretty sure that's how like dirty diseases that are like they could like rip through the human population start.
Let's be fair. You could probably get a disease from the
Yeah,
homeless
but it would be a
person.
human to human disease. It'd be a disease that's probably already like known and contained. Whereas
Yeah.
your potential for sucking dirty monkey balls is it could be very bad.
Okay, fair enough.
I mean, like
10 seconds
so
is a
like
long
when
time.
AIDS started, like the general consensus now isn't that like the joke was always like, oh, somebody fucked a monkey. The general consensus now is that like somebody was hunting monkeys and they had like any hunter would. You have like nicks and cuts all over you from just being out in the bush,
Yeah.
the wild. And so the monkey must have had some AIDS related virus that was only contained in the monkey population that introduced to this specific human's like blood and some virus he might have had
Yeah.
combined and mutated into what AIDS was. And then AIDS was worse than like COVID. Like AIDS was like destroying the gay population.
Yeah.
And they were being like lied to about it. It's crazy when you look back and like when you look in what they were saying, like do some research on like the AIDS outbreak. What they were, it's crazy how much they lied, like how much they lied about it.
What numbers?
No, like like they weren't giving out information. Like they should have just been saying like if you're gay, you need to protect yourself. This is only a disease that not only as affecting gay people, but it is
Mhm.
affecting gay people at a much higher rate. You're at a much higher risk for it, and like you need to be protecting yourself. And
Yeah.
instead, they were like treating it as if it was just a sexually transmitted disease that could be brought like between men and women. That it was like
Oh,
transmitted between men
really?
and women. And it was like that scenario was so small, so minor because it was mostly transmitted through like gay sex.
Mhm.
And they just were like lying. It's just crazy.
Wow.
And it
I'm
was
not really surprised though.
and it killed, I mean, a ton of people.
Yeah.
Got it under control now though.
Do you want to play footsies?
Yeah, dude, I've played a little footsie. It's been a minute.
It's been a minute.
Yeah, since a little.
Who plays footsies on purpose? What do you mean it's
What do
been a
you?
minute? You used to do it like on the regular?
Yeah, well, yeah, you were like a little. Yeah, you'd play like if there was like a girl that you had like the hots for when you were like in elementary school, middle school, and you
I'm
sat
sorry,
next to her.
elementary school.
Elementary school, shut up. Uh, you'd like take your foot if you're sitting next to her, and you'd like rub,
Yeah.
and then if nothing happened, you're like, okay, maybe we're not footsying. But if she was like, yeah, if she started to react, you're like, ooh, we're doing a
Ooh.
little footsie action.
And then you pass her a note that says you want to rub something else after class.
I wish that would have been good though. Might have worked.
I don't know about that. Seems like you got shot down in elementary school quite a lot.
Yeah, but I also didn't a lot. So
Okay, so do you have one for me, or do you want to think on it and we can?
yeah, no, I didn't come prepared with a would you rather.
Damn, and this was like kind of well,
It wasn't not my idea.
no, but you brought it up.
I did because look, he gave a verbal comment, verbal question, and the only one that I'm aware of. So I was like, all right,
Yeah.
your verbal comment, verbal question is making it to the cast. Um, as I said, it is September now. The house, we are literally in the beginning of
I
the
brought the Halloween stuff
spooky season.
out of the attic yesterday
I
and
can't believe there's
started
nothing behind us. I'm upset with that.
decorating because I knew that it would make you happy.
Yeah,
Feel free to grab something and
dude, I was really excited
but I figure all of the October
when you showed me
episodes
the floor
will
mat.
be decked out.
When you showed me the floor mat, I was like,
Oh yeah.
fucking
Remember when
right.
we got that and I was like, who the fuck sent us this creepy ass like because we didn't know it was from your mom.
Yeah, okay, yeah, that's right. I was trying to remember.
I was like, Gene, this is creepy. Like somebody is just randomly sending this to us. How do they know where we live? It's so
Yeah.
weird. It's a little like
We
rug
wouldn't be
of
lucky enough to have like a weird stalker like
Pennywise.
that. That'd be cool.
No, it
Haunted house,
wouldn't.
weird creepy stalker.
It would not be cool, especially with our kid involved.
Sometimes I really have to
Chief, that's when we'd be leaning on you, dude, to be our
do
lookout.
absolutely fucking nothing.
I mean, he would let us know if somebody
Yeah,
was trying to
I
come in
think
the house.
yeah, he'd at least bark, which, is good enough. He probably
You know
sounds
what?
crazy
You
enough
know
that
what
he probably
hasn't
scares somebody off.
happened this year? It definitely happened last year because I remember it happening while you were in the hospital and it freaked me the fuck out. But it hasn't happened this year, and I don't want to jinx it, but I'm gonna say it anyways. We haven't heard like foxes screaming outside.
Yeah,
That
they're
happened.
weird.
That happened a lot last year, and he
Yeah,
freaked out. And like
'cause it probably depends on all just time of year. I
he
mean, they're
was
all over the place.
he was like barking, and also I could tell he was scared because he was like almost sitting on top of me when I was laying in bed trying to go back to sleep. But that was still when Colt was in our room because he was like not even like 5 months or whatever. And I just remember it's so
Yeah,
creepy. It's almost like human like.
yeah, it's like humans like screaming out. It's weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, foxes make noises.
Yeah, yeah.
That's what animals do. Make noises.
Okay, so we'll come back and get your would you rather if you
Yeah, if I end up, I mean, you know what?
just off the top of the dome.
Yeah, no, I mean, because I was trying to like smooth segue into the beginning of spooky season.
Oh, you were,
And
sorry.
then you cut me off because you're a fucking
Well,
bitch.
look, you should know by now that this is how my brain works. If something pops in it, it doesn't stay for long, so I need to say it.
Yeah. Okay.
Disclaimer, you're going to get cut off probably.
Crazy how you
But you
just
do it to me
managed to
too,
do
so.
it again. It's just wild.
Okay, go ahead, spooky season.
So, yeah, well, spooky season and stuff. But so yeah, I mean, I'll give you like this is a pretty easy one. And I just thought of it now, so not a ton of thought going into this guy. But let's go. Well, man, there's so many horror movies that I'm gonna have to make you watch now.
Or not.
No, I mean you have to, because like I'll have things like this that won't even make sense. But I mean, like this one, I can use these two because but Mike Myers, would you rather have Mike Myers chasing you, trying to kill you, or Jason Voorhees?
Okay, this is not a good question for me because I don't know that I've ever seen the Jason movies.
You've never seen a Jason. You've never seen a Friday the 13th movie.
Maybe one.
The hockey mask guy.
I can't think of what he looks. Does he have long hair?
No, he wears a hockey mask.
And that's it?
Yeah, bald head, hockey mask,
Bald head.
jumpsuit, gray jumpsuit. Very similar.
I don't think I ever paid that much attention. If you did have it on TV around me, I mean, do I get any weapons? Or I'm just running, trying not to die?
You're just running, trying not to die.
Can
Man, you really upset me sometimes.
I know
This
I
is not
do.
the same page at all.
Do I have weapons at my disposal? Can I go find some?
I mean, yeah, sure.
Or am
you
I
can
in
go
the
find
woods
them.
and there's like nothing?
Maybe we'll see that. So you don't get to ask these questions because
Why?
you just have to pick one. Because, well, they're very different settings. So if Jason, if you're running from Jason, you're probably in the woods.
Does he have a...
He's the one that is Camp Crystal Lake, so he's like a campground slasher. He'd be like in the woods.
What's his like method of killing? Or
Stab, slash. I mean, he
he
has
has
like
a
machete.
oh,
It's like, I want to say, his most probably iconic
okay.
weapon. And then Mike Myers would be like a small town, Illinois. Haddonfield.
Yeah.
Butcher knife.
I'm gonna go.
Well, not even butcher knife, literally a chef knife.
I'm gonna go Mike Myers because
You know who that is.
yes.
I'm really excited for the new movie.
Because if I am in a small town, maybe somebody can help me.
Yeah. They probably won't. He's gonna kill everybody in town.
I will
I would pick Mike Myers just because I have more respect for Mike Myers.
find wherever Jamie Lee Curtis lives, and I will make her help me.
Yeah. I hope she dies in the newest movie, in
You
the most recent one.
do?
Yeah, I want Mike Myers to win. I like the mythos better than Mike Myers. They've done more to keep it relevant, even though they're not like the best. I mean,
That's
some people
true.
don't like the most recent one.
But I do have a lot of respect for her for like staying with it all these
Oh
years.
yeah, no,
That's cool that they use original
yeah. I mean, she's like
peeps.
the OG scream queen.
When we watched the most recent together, remember, and I hope that she doesn't take offense to this because it's not, it shouldn't be offensive, but remember how I was like, she kind of reminds me of your mom. Like in the most recent movie,
Oh
she had like that short blonde
yeah, yeah,
hair.
yeah, yeah. A little bit, I guess. My mom would lose her shit though. She wouldn't be nearly as competent as Jamie Lee Curtis.
Really?
Yeah.
If your mom was the mother of that, wait, it's the mom, right? Or sister?
No, it's his sister.
Sister.
Mm.
If that was one of your mom's brothers, you don't think she would have different feelings and be more brave versus if it were just a stranger killer?
I don't know.
Because I gotta feel like if the killer is someone you're related to, you probably have this like feeling that you could get through to them.
Yeah, and then you would die because he's killing everybody.
Yeah, but I mean, I would certainly feel that way if like it were one of my relatives. Like I can help them. I love them.
Yeah, and then you're gonna die, and I'll be like, all right, well, using Colton and the dog to find the next one. I'm trying to think, we've seen a couple of scary movies in theaters. We saw It.
Stop doing that.
I think we saw It too.
Yeah, I think so too.
And we've definitely seen. We saw the Scary Things to Tell in the Dark. That one was pretty whack.
Oh my gosh, I remember that.
Yeah.
You thought I was whack?
Yeah. It was just didn't live up to the hype. I had those books as a kid. Those books as a kid were fucking creepy.
Just like I'm easily amused, I'm also like easily freaked out.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, it doesn't take much. And
No, I
you
mean, like
say
some
that
of the
movie
stuff
was
they
whack,
did
but I was like
looked
thoroughly
okay.
creeped out.
Yeah. Some of the stuff that they did looked okay. And was like kind of true to like some of the artwork.
Yeah.
But like they tried to like weave a story. Like there's a better version of that movie called Trick or Treat.
Oh yeah, I think I've watched that with you.
Yeah, it tells, I think it's 3 stories that it
Is
tells
that the
in
one
the
where
same
there's
town, but there's no real through line of these 3 stories except for like a character overlaps here and there.
the Pumpkinhead dude?
Well, the Pumpkinhead guy, he's like the the narrator, despite the fact that there's no narration. Like he would be like the person being like, on this Halloween,
Oh right.
this stuff happened.
Is that the movie that there's like naked witches in the woods?
Werewolves, yeah.
Oh, they're werewolves.
Yeah, they turn into werewolves.
Yeah, that was kind of weird.
Yeah, because like the one guy's like a killer, and he's pretending to be like a vampire, and he like tricks some like lady and kills her, and then somehow gets found out, or like goes and I think he's going to kill Anna Paquin. He's like trying to also trick her into getting killed.
Yeah.
And she just happens to be a werewolf.
Oh.
Yeah.
She's like, joke's on you.
Yeah, pretty much. Which I like that as a story beat.
Oh, that's the part you like?
I've always thought of that as a cool story beat. Like, in my mind, I know what you're thinking. Like, oh, naked girls, you didn't like that?
Yeah.
Immature. I'm trying to talk about the art.
That's the part that you like and not the
talk about
titties
the art
popping.
But like a story in which, like, Taken is similar to the idea, but where it's like a bad thing happens to like what you would probably call like a bad guy, or like maybe a gray guy, a guy that lives in between of like good and bad, and has like
connections and
like
deep knowledge,
similar to Taken, but Taken was like obviously like, okay, well, like Liam Neeson is just this like really good guy.
Yeah.
I always thought it would be cool to like you'd have like like I don't know, an assassin or something get like his home invaded, and like yeah, while he's like tied up to a chair or something, and his like family is in danger, like giving the like I have a particular set of skills kind
Yeah.
of deal. But so I like that idea too, where it was like, yeah, you think Anna Paquin's gonna get killed, and then it's like twist, she's a werewolf, and
Yeah.
she's gonna fucking fuck eat this guy. I guess is what they do. That's
Mm.
why their titties are out. But I think their titties are also out because they have to turn into vampires. They don't want to rip their clothes or werewolves. Sorry. But so anyways, that movie does a better job of what I think Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark should have done,
Yeah.
which is have these standalone stories being told as opposed to like having them connected to this book that some ghost person is writing that like kids are trying to figure. I hate that every fucking movie in the last 5
Oh,
years
that's right. It's coming back to me
is
now a little bit what the
like
story was.
the more I think about it, I think and I can't put my finger on it exactly, but it seems like there's this really weird mind fuck that we're trying to do to adults and to kids. Like everything, or not everything, but a ton of things that come out now are putting children in the position of what would have been like your lead adult actors. Like children are like becoming like the good guy that wins, and it's just like no, they're kids. Like the Thor movie that I watched today,
Mm-hmm.
for the most part, it was an okay movie, but like there's a part where like all these kids are kidnapped, and somehow like Thor gives all these kids a part of his power to fight like monsters, and like these are kids. Like you can't do that.
Yeah.
Like the scenario in this happening is at least some of these kids are dying. Like they're not just all winning.
Yeah.
And I'm just it's like a weird. I don't know what the end game is, but it's like yeah, kids, you guys can be powerful too. And I don't know.
Would you say that for Stranger Things because it's like mostly kids doing all this?
Well, yeah.
Except one of them
I
is
mean,
really
other than
powerful.
11. I mean, other than like 11,
Yeah.
like the kids for the most part aren't doing a ton. Like they just happen to be there. They
They
figure
were though.
some things out. But the adult like
They figure a lot out.
the adults are still more or less like to me like Hopper is like the main character next to 11. Like 11 has powers and yeah, she's a kid. But then Hopper
Yeah.
is the next main character.
Yeah, but while he was trying to like get back home, the kids were figuring out all of the like where the doorways were and like the
Yeah. But they weren't like fighting demons, really. I mean, like
I mean the big bat
by the
things
time that
kind of.
yeah, but by the time that happens, it's like the adult teenagers that are doing it. Like
Yeah.
12-year-olds aren't fighting demigorgons. Like
Yeah.
it's they're like 18, 19, and I guess now they're like 20. Like Nancy is at least in college,
Oh, that's true.
or they're like literally
Excuse
or
me.
they're 18. They're like filling out their college
Yeah, that's true.
paperwork. And what's his face? So the next guy, like Nancy, the guy that I really like a lot, Steve,
Mm-hmm.
would be like 19. He's like a year older than all of them. He would have been like removed from school for a year.
Yeah, that's true.
So
But
they're
I
like
mean, in
he's
the
like
previous
adults.
seasons, obviously they were younger, figuring
But
shit out.
but even then, the story that they're telling happens over like 8 months.
Really?
It's not like years later. Like
But they don't.
season one is I want to say Nancy in her junior. It might be a year. It might be like 9 months. It's
Oh,
Nancy in her junior year.
really? Oh, I didn't know that. Like I said, I want to go back and rewatch
Cause yeah,
because I want
Steve
to pay
is in
more
his
attention.
senior year, and then they're all in the same school year, season one and season two,
Mm-hmm.
and then I think season three starts with the end of the school year, and Steve goes and gets the job as like an ice cream man
Yeah.
at like the ice cream parlor in the mall. and that's like he's out of school for good.
Yeah.
That's his like first real world job.
Yeah.
So I think the whole seasons 1 through 5 take place over the course of like maybe 10 months.
Oh, that's wild. I didn't know that.
That's why I was saying like when they were show L, like they had to put so much work,
Into making her not hot.
yeah, like into strapping her tits down
Yeah, they did.
because she's supposed to be like 13.
Yeah.
Like she's literally going from being, I think her, I mean, other than the fact that she is like the 11th whatever. When you first see her, she's supposed to be like 11,
Yeah.
11, 12, and then all of them are literally going. I guess in that time it's junior high, so they're literally going. They're probably 12, 13-year-olds. They're
Mm-hmm.
going into like 8th grade.
Yeah.
So it takes place over a very short amount of time
Yeah, I didn't
in
realize that.
the movie or in the shows. But yeah, they did a lot of work to try to make her just
I
seem like a little
know.
girl, and it was like, dude, there was the one scene I was like, dude, her tits are trying to spill out of this little white jumpsuit you've got her in, like, and that's why they had to do the whole like CGI thing with her being a kid again
Oh.
in
Mm-hmm.
those like back and forth scenes because it was just not going to be possible to have her do it because
Right.
she's clearly way older now.
Right. Yeah. So
Stranger
we
Things.
said in episode 9 that we were gonna go into our past.
Wow, you're like,
I had to burp. No, I burped a little bit first.
we have to put that on hold.
Yeah, I know. So we teased a little bit last time, but I'm sorry, we're just gonna have to.
Yeah, the Queen died.
Oh, yeah, that's why we're putting it on hold.
Yeah,
Out of respect.
yeah, I guess.
No, who gives a fuck?
There's going to be a ton of people that give a fuck. I don't know why.
Yeah, I don't know why either. And I'm not gonna pretend to have any knowledge of what goes on over there. I don't even know. Like, aren't they just there for like kind of looks, and they don't have anything to do with governing the?
Yeah, they have no.
They're just
I think
there.
the only control that they have in government is that they're like insanely wealthy.
Yeah, and isn't her face on a bunch of money too over there?
Well, I'm sure it's on a bill. Yeah,
Yeah.
probably. But
But I know nothing about it, so I'm not gonna
I just know that like I mean the
pretend to.
royal wedding was huge, so I imagine that her death is going to be all over the place for the next couple days.
Oh, true. But I mean, she lived a long time,
Yeah,
94-ish or something like that.
surprising for inbred.
Yeah, I mean, I keep hearing that too, and I don't even know anything about that.
Well, that's just how they would keep the royalty like going in the family. It's like
So they purposefully fucked each other?
yeah, when it like cuz if
And did they not know the consequences? Possible consequences?
I mean, well, if you think about she's like 92. So she would have been born in 1940? 1932?
Okay, but what's your point?
No. 70. Yeah, 1932. 1929.
Okay, but what's your point?
Well, they probably didn't know anything about inbreeding. Up in like when she was
Really?
born,
You
they
don't
didn't know
think
anything about
so?
it. Dude, babe.
You don't think just trial and error would have?
No. When do you think science started?
Fuck
Science
if I
started
know.
in like real science that they could actually check this shit out on. We started in like the 1940s. Like they didn't know anything in the 1920s.
So they just probably all have a
And
screw
they certainly
loose?
didn't know anything. Yeah, they probably all got some genetic screws loose. Yeah,
Hmm.
but it's just how you kept it in the family. It was also,
So weird.
I mean, and this is not just them. Every like monarchical system thought that they're like they were the king or the queen, like their bloodline was the best. So you would inbreed your bloodline with more of the same bloodline,
Gross.
cousins and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just because of the Wrong Turn movies, I just assume that
Well,
like
yeah. I think
inbred
that's
people are
like
gonna look funny I know
Well,
that's horrible, but
yeah. Well, I think you get into real problems when it's like brother and sister.
oh yeah.
Like even when you're like, I mean, a cousin, I think is what 1/16 of you, like of your like bloodline,
It's all
because
gross.
well, it's all gross, but it's less like it's a bit more diluted
Yeah.
than, I mean, your brother is literally like the same material.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's gonna be all over the place. But I mean,
Yeah.
rest in peace. I shouldn't have called her. That's terrible that I called her inbred. Might want to cut that out, to be honest.
Think so?
Whatever, or don't. Um, but no, they're just insanely wealthy. I mean, they're like I think the last real like monarchy to survive.
Out of the world?
Yeah,
Oh, really?
yeah. I mean, there aren't really like, I mean, the like I'm sure there are kings out there,
Mm-hmm.
but like, I mean, they were the last king and queen of like an actual empire.
Right.
Every like the other king, like they might be the king of a country, but it's not like they were extending. I mean, the monarchy was still around, and they had owned parts of India and Africa. Like that was like the king and queen. The
Yeah.
like the empire still owned things, and that was up until the 40s. Like World War II was really when all that stuff kind of ended, even I guess into the 50s.
Yeah.
But I don't know
Yeah.
when they instituted their parliament. But no, they're just insanely wealthy. And I guess now it's her husband. I guess it's Prince Charles. I think he can't last long. I mean, he is.
Oh, he's like
I'm pretty sure Prince.
still
I think it's
kicking.
Prince Charles. Yeah, well, I think he married her. He was younger than her, I think.
Oh, okay. But do you know how old? Is he still in his 90s?
He's probably
Mm-hmm.
in high 80s, if I had to guess. And then it's, I think, one of the boys next. Harry or whoever, whichever one's older, I forget.
Mm-hmm. So they're just gonna like keep it going even though they don't have control over anything? They're
Yeah,
just
yeah. Yeah, just how that works.
oh,
The next in line.
interesting.
Yeah, if you watched Game of Thrones, you'd know a bit more.
But why do they call themselves queens and princes and things if they're not overseeing anything? Like,
I
what are
guess
you
it's
a
just,
queen of? Nothing?
I mean, she was the Queen of England. Uh,
Yeah, but like,
I mean, again,
not for a while, right?
yeah, I mean, I guess queen by title, but your wealth, like your wealth, that'd be like if Jeff Bezos wanted to be called Prince Bezos, I'm sure he could make it work because he's wealthy enough.
Yeah.
Like,
Money, you know?
yeah,
But yeah, I do hope that like, cause like I told you before I heard that she passed, the one thing that I heard was that her family was being like asked to come to her because she wasn't doing well, like her
yeah,
health. So I hope that everybody was able to get there and like be with her before she.
yeah.
I just can't imagine being that far away from family
It's
like when
crazy with that amount of money. That I guess we're just not there yet. I'd imagine with that amount of money, she could have just pushed it off to being like 100. Like they could have given her something that would have kept her going for a few years.
oh, you assume that she would have wanted to. What if she was like
I would imagine you have
really
that level of power. You probably do. You're probably like, yeah, give me another 4.
like
See,
start putting robot parts inside of her? Like whatever's failing,
yeah,
like just
some
replace it
serum.
with
Yeah, something.
yeah.
I mean, they're like rich.
Yeah, I get it.
It's crazy.
Good for them.
Yeah, good for them.
You still die,
Yeah, true.
obviously.
As of right now, yeah. I don't know how much longer that's gonna go though, babe.
Oh yeah?
Yeah,
You think people are just going to choose to live forever?
probably in the next 100 years, it's gonna be a choice.
What a miserable life.
It's certainly gonna be a choice.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah, in the next 100 years, computers are gonna be fast enough with enough storage that you'll be able to like copy your brain, your consciousness? Depending. That's the question. Is like it seems to be pretty like well accepted that you could certainly like download someone's brain, all
You
the
know,
information that's in there, but
every time I hear about stuff like this,
consciousness is the tricky part. Is would you be like would we be downloading you, or would we be just downloading like the files in your brain, and that when you
right?
turn that on, like it would just be like a facsimile of you. It would just like it'd be able to parrot your memories and your ideas and thoughts, but it wouldn't actually be like you.
Yeah. Every time I hear about anything like that, or like this stupid AI shit, and like it just brings me back to my, what was it, episode 1 or 2, where I was just like, why?
Yeah.
What is the point? And then you were like, well, I mean, it's innovative and that's how you keep going. But
Yeah.
like, we've been going and going without all the shit. So my
Yeah.
question is
I
just
mean, a very
why?
small amount of
And
time.
I don't know that I'll ever get an answer that satisfies me. But
Yeah.
why is my
Well,
question?
my answer should satisfy you.
But it
Like,
doesn't,
well, as
because we're trying
as a
to
part of the human species,
progress.
yeah, the whole goal, take away computers, houses,
But
take away
I
all.
think we're trying at this point, like, how do I want to word this? We're like trying and it's not for our own good anymore. Like, we're
Well,
going to push
we're
to a
yeah,
point where
but you're giving it like I
we're going to
understand
become
why.
irrelevant.
Okay, I understand why you think that way, but the sample size is so tiny to be making like that kind of judgment. To be like, oh well, we've tried and it's all for naught. Like the sample size is so
No, I'm not
tiny
saying that.
based on. That's what you just said.
No, I'm saying this with the assumption
For
that
not our own good.
I'm saying this with the assumption that this is all going to happen one day, like AI and robots and whatever, if you want to live forever. So, assuming that's all going to happen one day,
Okay.
my question is, why do we need that to be a thing?
Because I was going to answer that.
I don't. This is my point. I don't think it's a necessity. I don't think that in order for us to keep living, we have to have robots. I just
Okay.
don't.
In order for us to keep living, like we will be the robots. Like we will have to turn into the robots.
That's what I don't
Because
understand, and I don't.
because
I
a
can't
hundred
comprehend it. I don't agree with
a
it.
100 years, give or take, for any human lifetime is just too small to get theoretically to get the jobs that have to get done to be able to prolong the human species on a long enough time scale. Like the main goal for the human species, whether we like it or not, is I mean, it's the reason we have kids. It's to prolong our genetic data, which, whether you like it or not, is your mental data for as long as possible, to keep things going for as long as possible.
Okay, so just keep having kids, and
Okay,
you'll
but
have
what
newer
I'm saying is
generations.
there's not it's not a it's not a good enough solution to just continue to cycle through lifespans of 100 years.
Why? And the
Because
solution to what?
because
There's
to
no
getting
problem.
to another, yeah, there's plenty of problems on
Is
this
there?
there's plenty of problems on this planet. Yeah. It wouldn't be a terrible thing to be able to have Elon Musk live for 1,000 years. He's like the smartest person probably, like
Okay, and
uh,
there will probably maybe be another one like him in the future.
probably maybe. So you're willing to put all the coin, all the money on there might probably maybe be another Elon Musk that isn't like for him being who he is, he's relatively well reined in. He seems to be in control of his ego. He doesn't seem to have motives that are about like trying to like rule through just absolute power. Like
Okay.
he's a rare combination of things, and to hope that we might get another one down the road to keep things going
Okay,
is
but
a big
like,
hope when it's like the whole species has to be able to get off this planet at some point.
okay, I remember you saying that.
Yeah. So that's not an easy task to put on a couple people that will only live for 100 years. That's like you could get a lot more done if you had 100 people be able to live for 1,000 years versus 1,000 people live for 100 years. Like those 100 people would be able to get a lot more done in 1,000 years.
No, I understand what you're saying. I just,
And everyone has a natural, like nobody wants to die. Like there's a natural human mechanism that people don't want to die.
right.
And so that, I mean, and that's a pretty big, you know, like it's a pretty big thing to have to want to fix. Like there's people out there that want to fix it, that think they can fix it. And there's a plenty of people that if you did fix that problem, like, hey, you're not going to die, they'd be like, sweet, I don't want to die. I don't want this to go away.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's a big motivating factor for a lot of people.
Yeah.
So like it's not too
It's just hard for me to comprehend.
well. It's a very crazy, I mean, thought experiment to think, because then you're talking about like the crazy part is that you wouldn't even be going to like 1,000 years. You'd be going from people probably living to about 100, 120 years in an organic body to
Mm.
potentially living for like 1,000,000 years. Like if it was just a matter of storing the data in your brain, if you could store yourself and then have it basically backed up in like the cloud to the point
Mm-hmm.
where there's basically, I'm sure there's ways to erase it out of whatever the cloud would end up looking like in a couple 100 years, but you'd basically just be infinitely able to just get popped back into a mechanical vessel to drive around.
Yeah. I just, doesn't something like that just make your lifetime and like your growing up just make it all pointless?
Well, people would stop growing up. I mean, you would have
No,
you
I
would put an end to. I mean, it would eventually, like, sure, you would probably have people that would want to hold on to like the organic style of life, but you'd always be putting an end to human being, like Homo sapiens as we know it. I mean, I mean, it's evolution is what it is. It's like I don't think people were looking back at like Neanderthal being like, man, we're gonna feel bad that these guys don't get to do stuff anymore. It's just the next evolutionary step. Like Homo sapien is going to evolve into
but
Homo mechanicus, whatever it
but we
ends up
didn't.
being.
I don't know. Honestly, like so many things run through my
It's
head.
just stressing you out.
It is. We
It's
like
not gonna happen in our
whatever
lifetime. So
came before us, we didn't have to implement non-human things to
no,
evolve.
we had to exterminate them by hand.
What are you talking about?
Like you're talking about like the evolution before Homo sapien.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
whatever we came from,
they
we
more
didn't
or
have to
less
take them and make robot versions of them to
correct.
get us.
No, what we ended up doing is making them go extinct. Homo sapiens basically made Neanderthal and all the other versions of
Okay.
whether it was Homo, all the other hominoids, we basically made go extinct.
So, survival of the fittest?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you just extrapolate that out to robots.
No, because if
We're not going to be the fittest in a couple
we
hundred
are
years.
right now.
Right
Why
now,
do we have
yeah.
to make something that's more than us?
Because
It's
it's
scary.
just the natural
That's
progression of
not
things.
nature though.
Well, you don't get to decide what nature is.
It's not fucking robots.
You don't get to decide
And
that.
robots fucking each other.
They're not going to fuck each other. That's the thing. You don't get to decide if
It's
that's nature or
not
not.
natural.
You
Yes, you can decide.
you can't say that inorganic life, if you can make a robot that can create robots, you can't say that that's not natural. Like, just because it isn't your nature, if a robot is sentient and it is able to communicate itself in a sentient manner, as a full on sentient being, you don't get to say that because it's mechanical, it's not nature. Like, if it's able to be conscious, if it's able to think of
But
itself as
it's
something,
fake conscious.
you don't you don't know. I mean, that's a bold statement. You don't even know what consciousness is.
It's
We
fake
don't know
in
what
the
consciousness
sense
is.
that like
For
it
all I
was
know,
made in a lab or something.
okay, but so yes, sure, it might, the first iteration of a robot, that the second it becomes sentient, you don't get to say that it's fake. I mean, you can say it's fake, but it's then, I mean, it becomes a sentient thing. You're then dealing with a very slippery slope of like, well, if you can deem this sentient thing to not exist because it's not like me, then you can extrapolate that out to people that are a bit more similar to you, but aren't like you, that are sentient as well, and you can just get rid of them.
Wait, what are you talking about? Are you referring to like different races?
You could put yes,
No,
you could certainly
because
take that. You could certainly
we're
take it to aliens. You could
humans.
take it to aliens. If
Aliens don't live with us
okay,
that we know
but
of.
in the future, which is what we're talking about, you like, it's a possibility, mathematic possibility, that we could live amongst human one day, or aliens one day. So their nature would be very different from ours. They'd be wholly dissimilar to us. You'd be able to extrapolate the idea out to like, well, just because they're different and just because they're sentient doesn't mean that they're natural, therefore we can exterminate them.
If they pose a threat.
Damn, dude.
Pew pew.
Damn, dude. Maybe we are edgy Mormons out here. Some edgy Mormon nonsense right there.
Is it?
Yeah.
I still.
Consciousness is the key factor in it all. The second, I mean, the second that something is able to be conscious of itself, it doesn't even have to be conscious of itself. The second that a thing is like aware enough to know that it is
Maybe
like,
I watch too many movies and too many shows where I just think that we're playing with fire and it's all going to go to shit
yeah,
if we try to do
I mean,
this.
maybe. I mean, it's also right to be skeptical. Like, there are things that could
It's
go wrong with artificial intelligence. Very, very.
yeah.
That's why the idea is to steer away from artificial intelligence.
Okay, but I feel like that's not the way that things are going.
Well, we would be steering away from artificial intelligence and steering into like human robotics, where you're like, again, you're downloading your intelligence. You're prolonging your intelligence over an indefinite amount of time and not having like an, you're not
Yeah.
relying on like computers to make the decisions.
I guess I just don't see why like you would want to live for so long. Like why not just you do your part while you're on the planet
Yeah.
and
No,
then
you're right.
another smart person will come along when you're gone
Yes.
and
That's a
continue
very,
your work.
that is a good way to look at things. And there's no right or wrong.
Wanting to
There's no
live,
right way to look at it, and there's no wrong way. What you just said makes perfect sense.
yeah,
And it's why I
obviously
love you. I'm right there. I don't want to live to be 2000 either.
it
I'm
would just make
cryptically excited for death.
it
I
would
think it's
just
going to be
okay.
I think it's going to be an interesting little journey.
A
Like, it's the
journey.
ultimate
You don't
journey.
get to feel it.
You
It's
don't
like
know. You were making bold statements that you don't get to back up. It is, in some ways, the only other journey we get to take. We have the journey of life,
you
and
know
then
what
we're hoping that
you
there's
know
a
what
journey of death.
I didn't just realize this because I've known it for a long time, but I am a very
You think
like
we die and it just blinks out?
emotional. No, I'm not talking about that at all.
Oh,
I'm over it.
damn.
No. I am
You just blanked out this conversation. Fuck.
no, I my perspective toward everything, I really don't think that I can form an opinion toward anything without emotion involved.
Yeah.
I'm a very like emotional like I don't know how else to put it.
Yeah, you've got titties. You got
Feelings.
titties and a vagina. You're an emotional woman. It's okay.
So my first thought about like possibly prolonging life and living past however many years is that like nothing about growing up is going to be special anymore.
Yeah.
Like who
Okay.
cares if you
And that's again.
won a baseball game? Who cares
That's
if like
It's an absolutely acceptable way to think.
so
There
we're
are people who think on the opposite end of that spectrum that think it would be an amazing thing to live. I mean, in some ways, I can run the thought experiment where, like, as much as I wouldn't ever choose to live for 2,000 years, I can see the appeal in being able to see, like, man, to be able to see the amount of change that would happen, to be a part of it and watch it all happen
yeah, I get that.
is
I guess I just
special in
am
and of itself.
I guess I'm just fine with missing out. Like I don't
Yeah, you don't have FOMO. That's cool.
I mean I do about some things.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. FOMO.
But just not about this. I just don't
Yeah.
care to see where it goes. Like I'm fine with our life. I'm just content.
Yeah. All right.
I don't know. And
I wasn't
maybe
telling
that
you that tomorrow I'm
no,
going to put your brain into a computer so that we can live forever.
I'm just
That's how you seem to be taking this conversation.
no, I think I just like a lot of it is like fear of the unknown.
Yeah.
That I just don't.
Hey, you know what death is? The unknown.
Okay, well we're not talking about
Yeah. The conversations literally go hand in hand. Because
no,
one of them is wholly meant to avoid death.
no, because
The unknown of
okay,
death.
so death.
Yeah.
And you're gonna argue.
Yeah,
With
because you're about to
this.
tell me that it's like, oh, it's just over.
Death is the end.
Yeah, Dame, I cannot believe that you're just such a
fear of that, or
such a black
fear.
and white lady on this.
What are you talking about?
That you think that it is just over, like death, done, lights out, good, over.
Because I don't have anything that proves otherwise. Like
Yeah.
I don't have any
Well,
other
none of us
experience
do.
that exactly.
Yeah.
So how am
Try to
I?
just have a glass half full. That's all. That's why, like, I
My glass is completely full.
even if it is the end,
in our lifetime.
even if it is the end, lights go out, blink, it's over. Like, I'm still anxious for like that. You just don't know. You don't know what happens next. Like,
I
we're so.
I don't agree with you in the fact that it's something to look forward to. That's just
I mean, why?
sad.
I feel like if you look forward to it, then you're also more likely
Because
to
then
live a
it's
good life leading up to it.
I don't know,
Like,
maybe.
I think there's also just this, and I mean I get it. There's this strange, like, to talk about death in the manner of like, yeah, like it's okay to look forward to the end. It's like, ooh, there's like something wrong with you. Like, no, it's okay to be like accepting of like it's crazy in some ways not to be okay with like that thing that happens to literally everybody on the planet. We're gonna
No,
act like
I know what you're saying, but I just
I'm not running out in the street with like pistols in my face. I'm just saying, like, I do
but
think that there's a potential journey afterwards.
it just brings with it like you have to deal with loss, and I just nobody
Yeah.
wants that. I mean, you're never ready for it.
Well,
Like people like other people involved, you know,
Jordan Peterson would disagree.
family and
You should be the one
it's
ready
not
for
even
it.
October yet. Why are we talking about this? Heavy shit.
You're the one that turned it heavy, dude. You're the one that was like, I don't understand robots, and I don't like robots. Stop talking about. It's basically the entire conversation.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not saying that didn't happen.
In some ways, you know what? You're looking forward to death too because you don't want to be a robot.
No, I don't.
You're accepting the idea that death is inevitable, and
I
you're
like
looking forward to that version more so than a version in which we turn you into a robot.
I like my human self
I'd turn you
and
into
all my
just a
emotions.
dirty girl sex robot is what I'd do.
Oh God.
Just come home every day from work like, can I help you? Wink.
Ew, you would make me talk like that? I'm pretty sure you could give me a better voice.
Be better than this voice. Oh.
Shots fired.
Yeah. You can fire your shots in my face. That's also what you'd say.
I'm just thinking about the Rick and Morty episode where Morty has that like sex doll robot
Oh.
that he impregnates.
Giant incest baby.
No.
Isn't that how they... No, that's the one with the...
Giant sperm. When
No, the
Morty
robot makes like
jerked
a
himself off
gazorp
with the horse.
a gazorp
thing.
whatever. The one where he has sex with the robot
yeah, and they
that
have a
makes like
baby.
the red monster thing that like wants to destroy everything.
Yeah.
Not gazorp, but it's something like that. And then yeah, when he has sex with the horse cummer, whatever the device is called.
This is the second episode in a row you mentioned a horse cum. Remember we talked about Fear Factor last time?
Oh, yeah. Hey, you know,
We're not going to make a habit of that. Hopefully.
is what it is. Is what it is.
All right, baby. Episode 10. You want to wrap it up?
Sure. So this is how I look at it. We'll end after this. This is how I look at it. I think that this isn't intended to sound insensitive at all, I promise. You're going to have it easy because when the inevitable, whether it's Bubba, whether it's the people that are older than us that are inevitably going to go before us, like, I've already been cycling my brain through to be, like, prepared for those things to happen so that I can be the person that you can lean on, that I'll just take care of everything. Like, whoever we need to talk to, whatever needs to get done to get point A to point B done.
That's why you think about it?
That's not why I think about it, but in a part of thinking about these inevitabilities, it's something that I got from Jordan Peterson. Is like, you should be, he talks about it like when your dad dies, you should be like the strongest person in the room. Like, you should be the person that people can come to and rely on.
Yeah.
It's an important thing.
Well, it's comforting to hear you say that.
So you can just be as emotional as you need to be. And I'll just take care of everything. And we're good.
Thanks, babe.
That's what I'm here for.
All right, guys. If you don't already, follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
Yeah.
At Same Page the Pod.
Subscribe.
Please.
Thumbs up.
And thanks.
Comments. They're all good for the YouTube algorithm.
Yeah.
And we've got like 18 subscribers. Like, we're pulling in, we're averaging like 200 some views.
Yeah.
If you average them
just
across.
need subscribers. And just because you subscribe doesn't mean you have to click the notification bell. We won't blow up your phone with notifications.
Yeah. We're definitely not trying to do that. Just subscribe.
Yeah.
If you happen to watch this, just hit the subscribe button.
Join the club.
Join the club.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we're going to be doing this for a while anyways. We're going to be rolling out more content. October is going to be awesome.
Yeah.
I promise October is going to be awesome. And we're still, we're only on episode 10. Like, we're still trying to kind of navigate this and lock this in. But we're hoping that we're just talking to like-minded people. And having like-minded people listen to us.
Yeah.
And you don't even have to, even if you don't agree with everything that we have to say or have questions or anything like that, like, be so much happier to, like, answer a question or to have any kind of, like, dialogue with somebody that wants to have a dialogue. Like, if, like, to not end it the way we started it. But, like, if your comment is simply going to be, I didn't like what you talked about, like, I'll check you out later. Also, I think you might be Mormons. Like, there's not really any room there to be like, oh, well, let me chat with you. Like,
Yeah.
let me figure out who you might be. Like, if there are questions, like, throw them out there in a respectful manner. I know that's tough to ask for on the internet.
Very tough.
But it's definitely something that needs to get brought back in, like, a huge forces. Like, there should be a common trust, a common respect amongst all of us.
It's easy to be shitty when you're just behind
and
a
I know,
screen.
like, I know it probably sounds like I can be shitty when I'm talking about people. It's really only out of, like, a way to, like, kind of turn it into something like funny or turning into something fun. Like, I'm never trying to be like
Hurtful.
hurtful or
Yeah.
harmful. It's really just out of like, and if I am going to be hurtful or harmful, I think I'll say it up front.
Yeah.
Like,
And
I
it's
generally will be
probably
like,
going to be
this is,
deserved.
yeah, like just so you know, I'm going to pop shots off here. So get ready.
Yeah.
But, like, part of that is like, if you're out there listening, subscribe, comment, like, thumbs up, do all that good stuff, share, and I
And
just know,
email us.
yeah, I just know there's tons of people out there like us, like normal late 20s
Yeah.
to probably like late 30s that like probably have a whole swath of people out there that are just trying to like find something that sounds like normal, that isn't
Right.
like I
That are
think about this
trying
because
to
I watch them
sort
from time to
things
time,
out in their
but like
head.
it would be I feel like it would be so easy to be like, oh well, let's just switch over and we're just gonna do like reaction videos, like we'll just do like
Oh, you mean
like
us?
you like a clip, we saw this video on Instagram, so we're gonna comment on, like, I don't want us to just be like something that 1,000 other people are doing.
Right.
I really wanted this and want this to just be like, you're just gonna listen to us talk about stuff that hopefully
Yeah.
you'll have like an opinion on or a thought of, and we
Yeah.
want to hear if you have an opinion or a thought. Like, I think it would. Again, I've said it a bunch of times. I think it'd be really cool to be able to like hear from someone else, like comment on a question or comment on someone else's comment, just stuff like that.
Right. Okay, yeah. So, subscribe, please. And if you have any questions or would you rather ideas, anything like that, shoot us an email. It's samepagethepod@gmail.com. And 10 eps in the book.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
And at least 10 more to go.
At least?
Yeah. I feel like that's a safe number. Safe number to give for right now.
Thought we were shooting for the stars over here, but okay.
Dude, after the robot conversation, we might not be together after 10 more episodes.
Oh, true. Okay.
You might be getting the boot.
All right. Well,
Can take Bubba, leave the kid, and get your shit.
no, I'm taking the kid.
Then you taking Bubba too. I'm not taking the dog.
You don't think you could pick up ladies with just the dog?
I mean, no, dude, because he fucking would just be a little psycho.
He would be lost without me. You
Yeah.
couldn't pick up any ladies with him.
Colton, though, on the other hand.
He'd be lost without me too.
Nah, we'll be fine. We'll make it. We'll make it work.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I can't cut you loose now, dude. I think you're entitled to my money. You're like, you'd just be like, I've got a kid and I don't work, so I can get some of his money.
Okay. I work.
I mean, all right, but I mean, like you'd easily be able to come after me for child support and then probably
downplay
some
what I
of my,
do
I'm not
here
down.
in
All
the.
right. Yes, you're a strong woman. You take care of our kid. It's work. Blah blah blah. I didn't mean it like that. I mean,
No, I know you didn't.
like,
But yeah, give me your money. Just
I
kidding.
already do. So might as well not go anywhere.
Yeah, that's.
Just play footsies with me and shut your mouth.
You know, if that's the only reason you're staying, I'm fine with it.
The footsie? Cool.
No.
Oh. I thought the footsie game was just that good.
I mean, I thought you didn't like my feet.
I want to pick that thing on. I mean,
Because they're crusty.
I like your flaws.
Oh.
I only talk about your feet because I'm okay with your flaws. Your feet are the best thing about you, dude.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, it's rough. Everything ankle and above is rough.
Well,
So
I'd do a good job of hiding it then, I guess.
I want to pick that thing so bad right there.
Can you do this with your toes?
Spread my... No, I don't...
You can't? Super
Over
spread
here.
them.
It's...
What's your
Tough.
big toes doing?
I don't know, my big toes don't work like that. Do you have my... I had hockey...
Would you still love
skates
me if I
strapped to my
had
feet for so long.
webbed toes?
I probably wouldn't notice.
Really?
Yeah, I don't think I'd care. I mean, I would notice.
You would notice if you tried to, like, suck on them. Have you ever tried to? I can't remember.
I've, like, jokingly...
Put my toe in your mouth?
Yeah, I've definitely put your toe in my mouth. I have.
You just did something with your tongue and I heard it. You're like, yeah, you can stop. Okay, guys, we'll see you next week. Thanks for listening.
Yeah.